going to be a little bit of a different video, but I want to go into this topic before the new year because I don't want to have to really address it again. And honestly, I got a lot of comments on my Punisher video about this very thing. And what I want to address is why people think I've changed, why I have changed, why it is perceived that I've changed, and really go into my reasonings and a lot of how I had a rude awakening to some of the ridiculousness behind the scenes, whether it was Comicsgate or YouTube in general. I want to talk a little bit about how humanity has lost empathy and compassion 100%. There's no doubt about that. Most people online do not care how they make you feel. They always seem to forget that on the other side of that keyboard, on the other side of their avatar, the person they're talking to, that is still a human being, and that is really lost. I don't want to go really into that. So let's talk a little bit about how this channel started out. And basically, I started this channel to review comics. Most of my early videos are to and reviewing different books. I reviewed, Heroes in Crisis, I think was one of my first books. Talked about Justice League Odyssey. All of these things I really enjoy and I want to talk about. And eventually I started to get recommendations for different videos that were similar to mine, which led to different videos that were similar to those. And I started getting in with the quote unquote Comicsgate crowd. And I thought it was nothing different than what I had seen before in comic fandom. And because of doing so, I started to talk and go on live streams or have people on the channel talk and report on Comicsgate, talk about, Ethan Van Sciver and all these things. And then I had one rude awakening after the other. The first time was when I seen a doxing live, and when I pointed it out, I was told it didn't matter because a senator Republican, wanted it on. That's when I started to really look at things. That's when I started to realize that this wasn't necessarily a normal way people act. Now, I should have known that. By my age, I should have known that. But when I was online before, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't use social media. I still don't, but I was at that time. I started to notice the we hate cancel culture, but hold on, let's search so-and-so's Twitter to use cancel culture. Or we are totally against using 7-year-old tweets, but let's have screenshots of 7-year-old tweets and use them against you. So I started to notice that there was two sides to the same coin, and it was always the same argument over and over and over again. SJWs are ruining the comic book industry. There's an agenda. Okay, show me where your proof is. Well, America Chavez by Gavi Rivero 4 years ago was really bad. Okay, and now? And there was never any real answers because the majority of the people I was interacting with, I realized were not reading current comics, didn't want to talk about them. They wanted to use it as a platform to boost their own and really get into and make some money. And I'm not saying they're not passionate about comics because they probably are. But if your justification for everything is, damn those SJWs, you're otherizing half of the world, but then get mad when someone says they don't like Donald Trump. Like, you realize how sensitive that is, right? And there are clear issues within the comics industry. I'm not saying that at all. I'm telling you why I changed. Why I looked at this as, holy crap, this is a bunch of hypocrites. So I started to go off on my own. And I actually started interacting with some people from the Fandom Menace and thought maybe that was a little different. It wasn't really comics, but it was more of a broader brush, right? It was just geeky stuff in general. And then I get attacked for liking The Last of Us 2. Then people were mad that Sony didn't take my video down about the leaks and did other people's, even though I didn't show pictures. People were mad at my channel because I enjoyed a video game. And then I realized that it's no different anywhere. And there's not just Group A and Group B. They all use the same tactics. And I thought at that point it was much easier to stick to myself and the community that we've created here than put myself out there and worry about what people think. And I don't at this point. And I know a lot of people are saying that doesn't explain for you sticking up for the Punisher. You know why? Because it's 13 issues. And he'll get it back. He'll get back his iconic skull. There is no way that Marvel is going to get rid of that. They sell so much merchandise that way. That is how comics work. There is always a, oh my God, this will change things forever. And then we go right back to the status quo. That is circular storytelling in general. So no, does that make me mad? No. But I'm going to tell you a little secret here. Unless you're a huge Punisher fan, all four of you, no, I'm just kidding. I know there is a lot of Punisher fans. He's just not my favorite. Nobody's mad. They're just making videos to cause more division, and it works. And I don't want to be a part of that. And that's why I think this video was so important for me to make, because I won't be anymore. I've talked about the ridiculousness of get woke, go broke. And I know there are examples of when you think it's get woke, go broke, but it is not simply because it is woke. There are multiple factors. We don't need to look at everything in a 1-2 type relationship. Well, if it's woke, it's broke. Tell me why else this failed. Was the writing good? Was the acting good? Was it a big IP? Spider-Man, he's gonna sell. He's going to get butt in seats because he's Spider-Man. He's the most popular Marvel character there is. You know, if you have a character like Riri Williams, she's not gonna. You cannot compare them. Or better yet, Shang-Chi. I know there is some serious marketing flaws with Marvel, and I will say that, to be fair. Don't market your movie in a way that is almost making you look bad. I get it, you want to be the first this or the first that, but it turns people off. It does. And there is a failure there as far as marketing. But as far as the other stuff goes, I'm done playing 4-year-old games where I'm mad because Jonathan Kent is bi. Because bi people, gay people, trans people all exist in the world. And you get this constant argument of, oh, they're just, you're on social media, they're going to get a bunch of backpats, a lot of, admiration. What about when they turn off the computer and they go to the store? Do you really think they're going to get a lot of backpacks? That's why they say it's brave and stunning. Because those people off of social media, a lot of the time, their life is a living hell. And they still choose to live it. And unfortunately, that's where our society is now. So why would I add to that? Why would I make things worse for a person that is just trying to live their life by getting upset over something that I don't necessarily care about? Like, there are examples within comics that I could have gotten upset about, but I don't choose to, because I know, for one, just like I said before, status quo, it's always going to go back. It always is, and it always has, and it's very easy if you look back at comics. For the last 80 years, it has always, for the most part, gone back. We've had serious character changes and stuff like that, but it always goes back to normal so we can start another arc. That is pretty factual right there. That's not really a subjective thing. So it doesn't upset me. But also knowing that somebody has a hero to look up to, how could that upset me? I really started to open my eyes when I started noticing the ridiculousness of Comicsgate and Fandom Menace, But then I took it even a step further when I went to go review the other history of the universe. And I was like, this book is got the bones. The writing's good, but holy crap. Like, Black Lightning, I've never heard you act like this. And then I watched BJ Kicks, great comic book channel, review this and talk about how much it meant to him. And it kind of made me think, like, if it means that much to somebody, how can I hate it? Because it's doing its purpose. And I have books like that. Everybody has their comfort food of books, one of which I will be reviewing in just a couple days, Batman Noel. That book makes me feel good inside on maybe a Christmas Eve where it's not so good. Why would I want to take that away from anybody? Why would me being intolerant towards other people's opinions or the idea that they enjoy something, why would that ever cross my mind to hurt somebody that way? It wouldn't, and it doesn't. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like SJWs are killing the comic book industry when, of course, comic book industry is not perfect. Direct market is not perfect. But nothing is killing. Nothing is awful. We are still getting monthly comics, even though a year ago we were told we weren't going to get them. They were never going to be printed again. We are still getting all of our titles more for, I think the solicitations I just did had 60 titles from DC. More than in the new 52. And a lot of really good stories. I read most of them. I don't read them all. I skip stuff like Teen Titans Academy. It's just not made for me. Honestly, that's one of those titles that you have to let the market decide. If other people enjoy it, great. And the funny thing about comics is, there's one for everybody. And you're not going to always like the same thing. And I'm not going to be mad that you like it. And I'm not going to be upset. And I don't want you upset if I criticize something in a very normal way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how bad something is without giving reason for it. I'm not going to otherize an entire half of the population. And both sides do this. The right is very prominent in saying SJWs or lefties, and the left is very good about saying what? Nazis and a bunch of other things. I don't know. I don't have as much experience with them, but you're two sides of the same coin, and both of you are causing division by selling hate. Now, of course, I want to preface it, or not preface at this point, but by saying that is not everyone. That is not everyone. You can criticize something without being hateful. You can talk about someone's work, but as soon as you attack their identity, that means you have nothing of value to add to the conversation. And you don't get to decide if somebody is you can speculate, but you don't get to decide if somebody is a diversity hire. You can't blame an entire industry on wokeism. You can't blame Marvel on wokeism when clearly it is doing just fine. Like, these are all hyperbolic things that have been sold to the masses without a thought to the reality of them. And that's really a shame. You cannot simplify things in that way because it's not an umbrella thing. It's not wokeism or tokenism or whatever you want to call it. It's failures upon different levels, and everybody refuses to see that, and it's really unfortunate. So to answer all of the ridiculousness I am not for any sort of censorship. Changing a symbol is not censorship. It is something that has been done in comics for years, including, and not limited to, the Batman symbol, the Nightwing symbol, and, God forbid, the Punisher symbol. I've changed because I don't even know that I really have. I've just stopped doing outrage videos because I don't want to be outraged, and I don't want to play into this culture war. I don't have any interest in it because I'm not hateful enough. I'm not mad enough. And maybe that's a problem to some of you. But I can't be that way. I won't live my life in an angry way. So if you want to know my opinion about something, I will tell you my opinion about something. I won't attack because it's easy. Because it's easy. And it's cheap and it's dirty and it makes you look bad. But it's done time and time again. I talked in my live stream earlier about the ridiculous hate bait channels that we see pop up talking about the quartering. Within 2 hours, he had one titled Marvel's Woke Agenda Destroyed. And then 2 hours later, it was Spider-Man Gets Woke. Like, you can't have it both ways. And just calling anything female or POC led is not woke. Like, the newest West Side Story, that's not woke. You clearly have no idea what you are talking about. That is a musical, and it's beautiful. I haven't seen the new one, but the original is beautiful. Just because minorities are within it does not mean you can call it woke. That's ridiculous. And the failures of Cowboy Bebop is not because it was woke. It was because they didn't include the politics within space. It was because they forgot to include the politics that were so badly needed with the syndicate and with the bounty hunters. It's not because Faye Valentine wasn't wearing barely anything. There's a lot of fundamental issues with that. And it was all failures of the writing, not because it was woke. So again, this is the last time I'm addressing this. And I'm sure I'll lose 100 more subscribers, and fine. But the people I have here at this community are probably the best people I have ever met in my life. But this is ridiculous to say I'm for censorship because a symbol got changed when symbols get changed all the time. Literally all the time. It has nothing to do with censorship. Ridiculous. I've not changed. I've become a little bit more accepting and a little less mad at the world because I can see it through a finer or a broader stroke. If you're able to accept other opinions, then I want you to be subscribed. I want you to come in and join the conversation in the live streams. But if you're going to attack people in my live stream or something, yeah, I'm going to ban you because when you come on my channel, I want to make sure that you feel welcome. When you come in my comment section, I want you to feel welcome. I don't want you to feel like you're going to get a pin of shame or something like that. That's not going to happen. If I pin your comment, it's because I thought it was very insightful. This ridiculousness that I've changed isn't true. If you want parroted opinions, go to the groups that I've mentioned. They all have the same video over and over again. It's that easy. They're there. You can find them. But from now on, I'm not answering this. I'm not going to be rude about it, of course, but I'm not going to say and defend whether or not I've changed. What I want to create going into the new year is an environment where you feel welcome. You can come and talk about movies or comic books or whatever is going on in the world. Yeah, we'll cover news. And if something makes me mad or I don't like a book, I will criticize it. But I want, most importantly, you to realize that it is not going to hurt you to be nice. That's really all it is. And that's really all I've tried to be more of. And that's changing. So compassion is more godly than hatefulness. And I think people need to realize that. And I think the world would be a lot better place. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think.